The Walker Mysteries, written and created by Andrew White, starring Sally Swift as DCI Charlotte Walker. The bank. The day had started out like any other Monday. I got up and let my dog Bronte out in the back garden for a wee, brought the milk in from the front, only to find yet again they'd left semi-skimmed instead of full fat. When will they realise I didn't order semi-skimmed, and if they persist with leaving this semi-skimmed nonsense, I'll be going back to buying my milk, my full-fat milk, from the supermarket. Sorry, tangent, I'm really good at them, going off on a tangent. Make sure you keep up at the back. Where was I? Oh yeah, morning. So, breakfast, the same as usual. Strawberry yoghurt, the thick stuff mind, not the thin, runny, it's basically only a little bit more yoghurty than a yoghurty drink stuff, you know. The kind you can stand your spoon up in. Of which Bronte, my border collie and best friend, proceeded to lick the lid and the inside of the pot after I couldn't get any more out with the spoon. I tried licking the inside of the pot myself once, and it gave me the most disgusted look ever, so I've never done it again. Cup of tea. Yorkshire tea, of course. I say cup, but actually it's more of a mug, a large mug with World's Best Auntie on it in large comic letters, given to me by my nieces and nephew. Although you don't have to be a detective chief inspector like I am to have made that deduction. And then work at the wondrous Doncaster Police Station of South Yorkshire Police. Here I use the word wondrous sarcastically. Apparently I'm good at that too. Sarcasm. I can't see it at all myself. There, that was sarcasm. The Doncaster Police Station isn't wondrous. It's the very definition of what Prince Charles described as those monstrous carbuncles. Actually, I'm pretty sure he'd just been shown a photograph of the Doncaster Police Station before he made that speech. That was sarcasm too, by the way. Or is that irony? Never can tell. I've been working on rather a bizarre case at the moment, which involves a chap called Mr. Gregory. Well, I'll tell you about that later. Anyway, I'd recently got a cheque from my insurance company as compensation for being on hold to them for over an hour. I mean, like I haven't got anything else better to do. And so I had to make a special journey into my bank in the centre of Doncaster to pay this cheque in. There was a line of very surly and frankly a little menacing cash machines and paying in machines on the left wall, which the bank's accountants really wanted me to use. But I have an arm's length relationship with technology. I prefer a person. You can talk to a person. However, the bank's accountants really didn't want me to talk to a person, which was presumably why there was a long queue of customers and only one cashier serving us all. When I finally got to the front of the queue, despite them looking like they'd only just climbed out of school, he looked at my cheque with disdain and asked me whether I knew I could pay this in using the bank's app. I explained the bank app doesn't work with my phone. To which he replied, rather cockily, it works with every phone. I showed him my phone, and he looked at my completely original Nokia 3310 and pulled a face. Ha! Told you it wouldn't work on my phone. And that's when it happened. At that very moment, a guy, all dressed in black and wearing a balaclava, stormed into the bank and shouted, "This is a robbery! On the floor now!" I mean, seriously, who actually robs a bank these days? But he had a gun. It looked like a sawn-off shotgun, so everyone in the bank did as he said, including me. And that's when he recognised me. And I recognised him. Trevor? Look, I know you recognise me. It's Charlotte Walker. We went to school together. Whole cross. It's the eyes. I always remember the eyes. Why am I rubbing my shoulder? It's a nervous tick type of thing. Happens every time I get caught in a possible bank robbery. Does that happen a lot? Oh, you'd be surprised. So what are you doing here? I mean, obviously you're attempting to rob this bank, but more specifically, why? That's when I was told to shut up, and I tried to. I really did try to. Trevor, we can work something out here, you know. No one has gotten hurt up to now, and no one does have to get hurt, okay? There's still a way out of this for you. I can make that happen. You know I'm a police officer now, don't you? No? Oh, I thought that was common knowledge throughout all the Hallcross alumni. Yeah, I know that seems rather ironic, given how I was in certain years at school. Or is that sarcastic? No, that's defo ironic, isn't it? Yes. Actually, that's not something I'd rather talk about at this juncture. Let's talk about you. As it happened, he wasn't that interested in talking about himself and proceeded to point his gun at me as I knelt on the floor. Just then, I had 2 consecutive flashes of thoughts. The first was, why on earth was I chatting to him as though he wasn't trying to rob a bank with a gun, when he was clearly trying to rob a bank with a gun? Then, something grabbed me. A gun. You see, I have a fairly deep-rooted fear of guns, probably more than your average person's fear of guns. That's because I was shot. It was a long time ago now. Well, 2 years ago, I guess. I don't really remember exactly. Well, I try not to remember exactly. Sorry, tangents. Where was I? 2 years ago, when I was in the Met, I stopped the robbery of an ATM machine late at night by driving my car between the 4x4 which was trying to pull the machine out of the bank's wall and the 2 lampposts. As I got out to get the crowds of people away who were moving from one pub to another, one of the clearly angry robbers got out of their stolen 4x4 and started shooting. For some reason, probably my commitment to keeping the community safe, I decided to put myself between the shooter and the innocent members of the public. Fortunately, he wasn't that good a shot and missed virtually everyone and everything. Everything except my left shoulder. Another, fortunately, was that the bullet missed anything of consequence inside of me, but the surgeons, God love them, couldn't remove it easily. So they left it inside me. It's great when I forget about it at airports, alarms going off, scans, x-rays, and some interesting interviews. Or should I say interrogations? Sorry, tangents. So every time someone mentions a gun, or a gun situation, or shootings, I have this nervous thing I subconsciously do of rubbing my shoulder. Not that shoulder, of course, because that one wasn't shot, but this one. Then the second consecutive flash of thought happened. That wasn't a real gun. Trevor, thanks for moving real close and pointing your gun in my face. Why? Because now I know it's a fake. 3D printing, at a guess. You can't kid me, love. Now it's this close. It's clearly a fake. And that's when I decided to have the courage of my convictions. And I rugby tackled him, straight to the ground. I played rugby a bit at uni. I was a hooker. Again, ironic or sarcastic, one of the two. I expected the groans and moans from Trevor, but I didn't expect the round of applause from my fellow trapped people. That was rather embarrassing, actually. It turns out Trevor wasn't actually trying to rob the bank with a gun at all. Firstly, he didn't have a real gun, which is kind of essential when you're trying to rob a bank with a gun. And secondly, he was actually trying to propose to his girlfriend, who worked as one of the cashiers at the bank. Apparently, it's Valentine's Day today, and he wanted a unique way to propose to his beloved, and after several pints of Dutch courage, hit upon this ingenious approach. Trevor, I must say that you're not the dumbest person on the planet, but you sure better hope he doesn't die. I mean, what were you thinking? You weren't thinking. You're in love? Will you be charged with something? Well, I'd say so, quite frankly. I mean, not least for the smell of the balaclava. It reeks. Have you never washed it? Try Morrison's tropical washing liquid. It's got a very nice smell. Apparently, jellyfish have survived 600,000 years without a brain, so surely that's a ray of hope for him. What was he thinking? I don't know. You wouldn't get me acting all strange and weird on Valentine's Day. There is the point that I don't have a significant other for me to act all strange and weird over, but that's not the point, naturally. Well, not anymore, I don't. Maybe next Valentine's Day might be different. Who knows? Sorry, tangents. I never did get to talk about the Gregory affair, did I? Oh well, next time, defo. Oh, bugger, I've just thought on. I never did pay that cheque in.
The Walker Mysteries starred Sally Swift as DCI Charlotte Walker. Written and created by Andrew White. Sound design by Robert Black. Produced and directed by Andrew White. The Walker Mysteries is a Nova production.